Okay. So let's discuss today utility methods, how to read the data from Excel sheets. So you store the data in the Excels and read from the Excel to your program. So how can we do that? In order to do that, we are going to use Apache POI libraries, and they might ask you to write a code. How can you read the data from Excel sheets? So this is the code you need to write. So you need to use, these are the methods, classes you need to use. So there are two types of classes in the Apache POI. One is XSF workbook, XSF sheet. So, and this kind of class is used for .xlsx format it will support. There is a one more HSSF workbook, HSF sheet, that is for .xls format. So nobody using .xls format now. Everybody using XLSX only. So that's why obviously you can use workbook this class and sheet class. So XSF and so workbook XSF sheet. First, so this is the method will read the data from any Excel sheet that you give, and sheet name you have to give. Two parameters you have to provide for this method. So you are getting the data from this path of the Excel sheet and sheet name. So if you give sheet name, automatically it will get the data. So that is what this method, what it is going to do. First, you create object for file class, file source file equal to new file, and give the path. And then you create object for file input stream. So you know already. So file input stream is used to read the data, right? So that's what to input the data. So from the file, you'll take this file input stream. So FAS equal to new file input stream. So where is this FAS object defined? Outside I defined. 1 minute. So I was explaining, when you want to read the data, you have to use a file input stream object. So new file input stream object and pass the file. And so then excess of workbook object reference you call here. So the global variables I declared. The workbook type is excess of workbook class. So workbook equal to new excess of workbook and pass this FAS object. So then load the sheet from this workbook. So workbook dot get sheet. So this method is available in this workbook class, excess of workbook class. So that method you are calling and passing the sheet name. And then from this sheet, you're getting, okay, how many rows are there? How many columns are there with the data? So that I'm getting int row count equal to sheet dot get last row number, and int column count equal to sheet dot get row of 0 dot get last cell number. So these are already existing methods. We didn't create them. So these methods will help you to get the number of rows and columns in the sheet. So object to two-dimensional array. So data equal to, I'm creating a two-dimensional object array. So new object, row count and column count. If you remember the two-dimensional object array, so you have to create a object array, a two-dimensional object array with the row count and column count you have to give. That's what I have given. First I got a row count and column count, then I created the two-dimensional object array. So then you know how to iterate a two-dimensional object array. You have to use two for loops. So for int I equal to 0, so I less than row count, I plus plus. For int k equal to 0, k less than column count, k plus plus. So data of I, k, because in this array, in this row index and column index, I'm storing data from this sheet So sheet dot get row of I plus 1 dot get cell of k dot to string. I'm converting into string format. So why I plus 1? First row is headers will be there. So I don't want to read. That's why I plus 1 I'm keeping. So then get cell. So that row and that cell, the column, and get that. So so second row, first column, and it will read, and then increment the column count and iterate and stores here. So this is how you are reading the data and return this two-dimensional object array. So you have data in the two-dimensional object. This is the method you have to write. So this is already everything you're familiar with the object, two-dimensional object array. So we practiced so many methods in the Java. So practice this, and just in the file handling, we practiced already this. File input stream. To read the data, you have to use a file input stream, file class object, then file input stream. And extra you are getting here in two. So one is XSF workbook and XSF sheet. So, and please remember, this is the mostly asked question also. Write the code, how to read the data from Excel sheets. So next, so we have a JavaScript utils. So the JavaScript utils are basically, it will be used to execute a JavaScript code in Java Selenium. So you know, a JavaScript util class, I'm creating a constructor and passing the driver object for that. So parameterized constructor, wherever you are creating object for this class, you have to pass the driver object. So first one, so this method highlights the flash. So flash, so is going to highlight. So if you want to highlight the any element, so you just call the flash method and pass this element, which element you want to highlight. So you already know this code. So the same code I have written here. So JavaScript executor JS equal to JavaScript executor of driver and JS dot execute script arguments of 0 dot set attribute style background yellow border 5 pixel red. So this is the same code we have written in our practice programs. So then I'm removing, after 2 seconds, I'm removing the what are the color you are so highlighted. Next, if you want to change the color, so you can change the color. So with this method, you don't iterate every time this total, right? Just call this method. So this, so element color will be changed by this method. So again, same execute script method and passing the your JavaScript code. This is the JavaScript code. So arguments of 0 dot style dot background color. You can change the background color, and so what are the color you are going to pass. So that's the, so change color. And even you can get the title with the JavaScript code itself. So otherwise we have a driver dot get title, right? But here you can get with JavaScript code also. So return JS dot execute script. This method, it is a string type. So title is a string. So execute script return document dot title. Your document dot, this is the JavaScript code. Return document dot title is the JavaScript code to string. So it will so get the title. So even you can go back and you can go forward with this. So JS dot execute script of history dot go -1 means it will go back. If you want to go front, JS dot execute script history dot go of 1. So you want to refresh the page, you can do with the execute script method again, history dot go of 0. So you can refresh the browser with this method by JS code. So generate alerts. You can generate the alerts also. So JS dot execute script alert. Alert is a JavaScript. So and message, whatever the message you want, you can throw, and the alert message you can show in your code if you want to show that. And generate confirm pop-up. So we want to throw some confirmation pop-up. So confirm and message, you can do that with this is all JavaScript code, right? This is the parameterized method, and automatically it will go and so replace that. So get page inner text. So you want to get page inner text, and you can use this method. You can see the code. So js.execute script return document element inner text dot toString. Automatically you will get the inner text of that. So click element by JS. Click element by JS. So we already seen this method several times. Again, I'm giving one more time. Arguments of 0 dot click. If normal click is not working, you can use a JavaScript click. So send case using with JavaScript code. You can ID, by ID also you can send the text, string ID, string value. So see JS dot execute script document dot get element by ID using this ID dot value, and you can type this value. If there is a ID is there for that edit box, you can use this method. So you don't need to use a send case method. This is another way to send the string value into the edit box. Scroll page down. So just start execute script window dot scroll to document dot body scroll height. So you can scroll maximum height. So this also, and you can scroll page down to the bottom. You can scroll page down this window dot scroll to 0 and height. So whatever the height you are giving, that will scroll down. So that is the another scroll down, and scroll page up. So you can scroll page up till the top. So this is the top, and here you can custom element scroll into view. So particular element you can, until this element is visible, you can scroll. This all we have already seen this method. And draw border. So if you want to draw any border on the element, solid red or 3 pixels solid, we have seen already on the top right. Arguments of 0 dot style border. So you can draw the border also. So if you want to add a new tab, so you want to open a new tab with the JavaScript code. So execute script of window dot open, just blank you give, automatically new tab will open. So these are all the with the JavaScript, you can do a lot of things in Java Selenium. So this you don't need to write every time, right? So this is all ready-made. You can use always wherever you want. And then time utils. Time utils is basically you can give a small wait. In every time you don't need to write thread.sleep, right? So here we are writing. So see, we declared the final variables, and so default timeout, small timeout, medium timeout, large timeout, extra large timeout. So these are the timeouts, and that methods inside you have written try catch blocks, thread.sleep. Thread.sleep only ultimately again you are using here. Thread.sleep is a hard sleep method. So it will sleep automatically how many seconds you have given there. So that's this time utils. If you want, you can just call this method by just all static methods, right? Class name dot this method you can call wherever you want, because the class is public and method also public and static. So the main one is WebDriver utils. So WebDriver utils is basically you are going to use the WebDriver utility methods, all WebDriver methods. You can use these WebDriver methods. The WebDriver methods are, so on top of WebDriver methods, you can build your own methods. So that's what we are doing here. See WebDriver utils. So I'm creating a logger, private a logger log equal to log manager dot get logger. So WebDriver utils dot class get name. You're getting this class logger, and you can create actions object, driver variable, and JavaScript utils also I can call here. So WebDriver wait and JavaScript executor JSX. So under this constructor, I'm just declaring this driver variable and wait object, actions class object. So I'm initializing all the objects. So under this constructor, right? Automatically when you create object for this, and this automatically initialized. You don't need to every time call. So the object you will get automatically. Then page factory dot init elements method. So this is the how you can initialize your objects in the constructor itself. Now first refresh method. Say I'm calling again driver dot navigate method dot refresh. So you will call just refresh method. That's it. You don't need to write again this everything. Get title. So again driver dot get title you are calling and returning that title. So this method you can call directly. Get URL. So you don't need to write a driver dot get URL. Get current URL. Just call get current URL. So navigate browser back. So just call this method. Navigate browser back. Navigate browser forward. So that is the one. So just some of the methods you can write with a simple method name. So you can get the element. So web element, this method returns a get element method returns a web element by this locator. So return that element, and I'm flashing that element. So I'm highlighting that element also, so that every time you don't need to write a flash method in all the places wherever you want. You're just calling here flash element. So JSUtil.flash. So this method itself I'm calling here. See, one method inside another method you are calling. So you want to get a collection of elements. So this is another one. You can get all the elements by this locator. So that will return a list of web elements. So is element present. So by and driver dot find element by class object reference and return true, else return false. So no such element exception you will get. So there's a try catch blocks we used. Click. So basically a normal click, right? This is a normal click. So the click method you can call. I'm waiting for that element to be clickable or not. Then I'm highlighting that. Then I'm clicking that. So this every time you don't need to write this all these lines of code. Just you will call simple click method. That's how to make a reusable methods. And is clickable web element. So wait dot until expected conditions start element to be clickable, and flash element, and element is displayed. You are checking that. Next is send data. Instead of send keys, we're just doing send data. Basically your type or send data, whatever you want. The method name, it's up to you how you want to write. See that? First I'm waiting for that, then flash for that element, clear that element, then call send keys method inside this method. See, these are all you don't need to repeat every time. Wait for the element, then highlight, then you can. So you will come to know why you need to highlight. You will come to know that which element the action is going on in Selenium. So that's why we are calling highlight flash element. So you can get the text. So you just wait for the visibility of this element, then highlight that element and get the text. So this method returns a string type data. Clear text. So you can clear the content in the edit box. So then you're calling clear method ultimately again. So even get text method you're calling, clear method you're calling, here also send case method you're calling. So the same methods, but we are making more efficiently, we are waiting and doing the actions. That's one simple method we call. So you can reduce all this boilerplate code again and again. So it's simple, you can call this method only. Clear text, then clear text with the backspace. So you don't want to use clear method, but you want to clear with the backspace. How can you do with the backspace? So this one, wait dot until expected condition start, element to be clickable, highlight the element, then while element attribute value to string, so content equals empty until this content equals. So if it is not empty, it's keep going and pressing the backspace key in the keyboard. So send case method, you are giving a keys dot backspace key until what? So until this value, get attribute of value, you'll get some value, right? Until that is not empty, so it keep going. So that's what this how to clear with a backspace. So get element text. So get element of locator dot get text. So you can get if it is a locator, how to get the text is you can call this method. Get element attribute value. So we can get the element attribute value, then get attribute of attribute name. Any attribute value you can get with this. So method by locator. Get element attribute value by giving a web element. So web element dot get attribute of attribute. So you can give that attribute also. Get element CSS value. So you can get the element CSS value with a get CSS value, and you give the CSS property, which CSS property you want. So is enabled if this element is enabled, and you just call this method. So you know is enabled method is there, that method we are calling again here. So is enabled by locator, is enabled method you are calling, and get element by locator. Is displayed, and you're calling is displayed again, and this is also by locator, this is the web element. So there is a difference between both of them. You can pass the web element, you can pass the locator value. Is selected, so is selected both by locator and with web element. Again, inside you are calling is selected method. So check method, if so is not selected this element, then flash and click on that element. Then it will check that element, right? That is the one. So check element by locator. So you can check the element by locator. Uncheck if the element is selected, and you can flash that and click on that element. So it will uncheck that element. Okay. So uncheck with the locator also you can do. Submit method. So web element, and you can give the message also here. That message it will print. So flash the element and element dot submit method you can call. Select an option by visible text. So you create object for select class, then wait for that visibility of element, select by visible text method. So all the methods that I have explained, again we are calling here one more time. So but we are making some reusable methods by adding some weightings, all those things. And then select by value attribute, select an option by index. So get all drop down options, say get options method. Get drop down size, so collection dot size method. Get all selected drop-down options. So get all selected options method you are calling, and it will return a list of web elements. It will return the list of web elements. Get selected drop-down value. So selected value you want, how can you get? So cell dot get first selected a drop-down option dot get text. So you're getting the text of first cell, whichever is selected, that value you're getting. So these are all select class related methods. So is drop-down exist? So is drop-down exist? So whether the drop-down is available or not, you can check with this method. So see that first you create a select class object, then get all the options in this, and so that option is exist in the drop down or not, you can check that one by one. So if text dot matches the option to verify which option you want to verify in this drop down, then you can just make the exist variable as a true and break it. So then you can say if exist is true, and you can say the element, the option is available there. Next. So you select a drop down value. So you can just again, so based on the group of elements, you can select the option with one option with a for loop again. So instead of using a direct methods, you can use this. So another approach without select class methods, you can use that. Okay, so any questions here? Okay. So select option list method. So without using select class, you're selecting an option from dropdown. We already did this, right? So you give the web element. So from that dropdown, you get all the dropdown options. Then iterate with a for each loop. And if condition put option element dot get text equals ignore case, which option you want to select that option, and then click on that element, then break it. So this is what code we have already written. So I have given exercise for you guys on this to create a method with a reusable method and ask to select an option from down. I don't know whether you practiced or not that. I didn't get any exercise from you guys. Most of the things, 99% you didn't send exercises, but yeah. So I have given all this so explanation and how to write the code also. So select option. So again, you give a list of elements. From that one option you select it. So same as above, you can do the same code. And this is also similar. So we don't want that. Get elements. So you're getting by locator a list of elements, but that's not that much important. Okay, so this is the one. So you need to get all the element text. Okay, you will give a locator. So list web element list equal to get elements of locator, and you will get all the elements in this. Then that text you store in this array list class. So for web element e colon element list. So e dot get text method, and add that text to this array list. Return element text list. Is single element exist? Is single element exist? So you just check it. So one element is there or not. So int count equal to the collection size dot size, and that count equal to 1, you can say single element is available there. is 2 elements. You just get the count of the collection, and then that count is equal to 2, then 2 elements exist. Multiple elements, just put a count is greater than 1, and you can return true. So all these methods returns a Boolean value. But so if you want to just check so whether the particular elements are present, one element or 2 elements are more than 1 element present in the collection, and these are methods you can call. So actions class methods, all actions class method. Click by actions. So wait until expected conditions element to be clickable. Act dot click of element dot perform method. So this is the click by actions. So then click by enter key. So you can press enter key by clicking on the element. So element to be clickable and element dot send keys of keys dot enter. So you can enter the key. So click by position. Click by position, web element. So point P equal to element dot get location. So actions act equal to new actions of driver. Act dot move to element. So you move the cursor to that element, then move by offset. So X coordinate and Y coordinate, then click on that element, perform method. So this is another way to click the element. So mouse over. So you want to mouse over on the element. You move the cursor to particular element. So this is the one. Action dot move to element, get element of this locator dot perform. You can just move the cursor to this element. So double click, just action.